It's Dr. Mother Love. Oh, I got an echo over it. Oh, look at Satan trying to do something. We're just not going to have it. That handsome face that you're looking at next to me is Mr. Stogie Kenyatta. This guy is an awesome, awesome performer. He has the premier one-man show saluting the great, the late great. Why they call dead people late? They're not showing up anymore. They ain't coming. I'm still trying to figure out why you put clothes and shoes on dead people. Never mind. This guy, Stogie Kenyatta, does an amazing one-man show honoring Paul Robeson, who was just absolutely magnificent stage performer, and you do everything. Welcome to the program again. Okay, well, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, you got to call me. You got to call me. Okay, wait a minute. You can hear me, right?
Oh, absolutely. I can hear you fine, brother.
Okay, wait a minute. So, are you on the phone or are you on the computer?
I'm on the computer.
Okay. So we don't have a feedback. Okay, well, let me give you the number to call in. Okay, ready? Did you write 977-929? No, forget about 929-477-3088. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know how this is. Look, my role is to sit here and be I'm not allowed to touch the button. I'm not a button toucher. Oh, that's my teeth. Okay, so we can go now? Okay. So now can you okay. Now you can hear me? I still got feedback. Okay. Yes. You look great. And he's been on the show before. So this is one of my repeat babies. When we first met, I mean, it's been wonderful. And we got to thank your publicist, the beautiful Cynthia Busby. She always hooks us up with the best guests. Okay, we're working on the technology. This is a new format for us. So we're working out the kinks, but we still got kinks. So what happened to him? I don't know what had happened to him. Anyway, let me tell you about Stogie Carmichael. I'm Stogie Carmichael. Stogie Kenyatta. He is an acclaimed one-man Broadway show. The quote, "The world is my home," the life of Paul Robeson. And he was a big life. And he made a big impression. What got you involved with, wanting to do this piece on him, on Paul Robeson? Okay, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so we'll just work with it. We'll work with it. Put him back on. So I want to be able to see his handsome face, and I want you to get to know who this guy is. If you get a chance, check out his one-man show. It is coming up on tomorrow, on January 13th. He is performing. He's also won an NAACP Image Award. And so we want to talk about all of that and everything that he's been doing, and his one. People have said this is the best one-person show. I mean, when you can stand on stage, and I know how that could be scary for a lot of people, and you can stand on stage, one person, and entertain an entire audience. That's some power right there. That's some talent on loan from God when you can do that. Because they say the biggest fear that most people have is speaking in front of a public audience. Like, really? I just look at them naked. So how you gonna be scared when you're looking at everybody? Yes, I have that power. Do you have that kind of strength, that kind of when you know that because you're doing the same show and you've been doing this for quite some time, and you make it fresh every time. It's like the first time you ever got on stage and you give them your premiere performance. Okay, let's talk about Stogie Kenyatta. Can he respond to me yet?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, tell me how you first got involved in the arts, especially live stage.
Well, I was born in Kingston, Jamaica. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and I started acting pretty much beginning of high school. And I studied Bernie McClintock, the Afro-American Studios in Harlem, Henry Street Settlement, Duke, and Dick Anthony, Richard Williams. And it's always been one of my passions along with sports, basketball and football, primarily basketball. And I was the finalist in the New York State Theater competition with director John Houseman, and I came west on a basketball scholarship out here to California, and I just continued. I went to film school at Long Beach State, and it's been a major part of my life. I've always wanted to live a life on stage.
And what fascinates you most about the gentleman that you are paying tribute to, Paul Robeson?
Well, Paul is very unique because he is like Joe Louis, Jackie Robinson, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all rolled into one. Um, he had left brain and right brain brilliance. He was an All-American football player. He graduated cum laude valedictorian in 1919 when America was an illiterate nation of immigrants. And here you had one generation removed from slavery, son of a Baptist preacher, the first AME Methodist preacher, becoming not just a football All-American and playing on a basketball team and track and as well, but he was the valedictorian. Was a straight A student in 1919, which flew in the face of the myth that we were intellectually inferior race of people at that time. And so, yeah. So
Go ahead, because you know how stupid that sounds. See, and he knew that sounded stupid back in 1919. A lot of us, a lot of our ancestors, you know, got out there and stayed on the grind. What keeps you on the grind? Because that, I mean, what? So you got to go out there completely full, then empty out. And, you know, and I've also heard that you have people laughing and crying, breaking down. You just slap it. It's like going through an episode of ER because you don't know what emotion is going to come out of that person from your performance. How do you hold on to that sacred strength?
Well, it's a combination of things. It's real life experience. It's part inspiration and part desperation. I'm a classically trained actor, so that does help because a lot of times you fall back on technique. The other thing is that it's not so much of a show to me as a prayer. It is, you know, of gratitude to our ancestors who did so much before us. You know, and I figured if they lived it, the least I can do is tell it. You know, there's a thing to say that that they say that those that live to tell must tell, and so I do it because it inspires. It's a faith-based piece, a romanticized version of his life, and covering 60 years of his life from he's 5 years old all the way up till he retires at 70, and his wife passes away. And so it's a beautiful love story of faith and hope and perseverance and nation, all of which defines our culture and our race of people. It lets you know how magnificent we are as a race of people and the most unique race on the planet Earth.
Say it again. And that's why they always jock it. They want to see what you do so they can figure out a way to get that from you. How have you been able to hold on to that and keep it personal like that? Because I would pre-venture to say people have come to you and said, okay, what was like the craziest thing people have said, you know, especially promoters and PR people and, you know, the powers that be have said to you about what you're doing? And have they tried to infringe upon your master?
Well, the worst way they could is that after 25 years and over 500 shows in 21 countries around the world and winning awards, and it's given me a livelihood because I'm a 6'5" leading man, and I've been told for a lot of roles they don't want a big guy that's handsome. I've gone up. I've lost roles because if Stogie was absolutely wonderful in the audition. The screen test was magnificent, but his teeth are too white, his skin is too clear, and he doesn't look like he comes from the ghetto. And I have to reinform them that you don't audition for the ghetto. You don't have to send in a pitch and resume. Wherever you fall out that womb, wherever you are is where you are. Okay, and it's hope and faith and, you know, heart and hope that we rely on after that. And so the thing is that it's in many ways hurt my career in that regard. No one still represents the show. I have a manager that I've worked with for 25 years, and each time I do so, it sells another show because someone sees it and they can't believe that I can play, you know, over 12 and age, the age of 5 all the way up to 60, and dress and change on stage from slave costume all the way down to in t-shirt, civvies, and into a full tuxedo. And I go in front of the audience, and you'll laugh, you will cry, and it's a tribute to our forsaken ancestors and the folks that held us together and taught us how to survive creatively, because that's what we're known for.
And you're not just surviving, you are thriving in this. I mean, you own this performance and you have to make it and keep it fresh. Of those 500 performances, have you been on, and this happens to a lot of us, you go out there, and I think when you're in pain and you're an artist, this sounds crazy, but we can do our best work when we're in, like, what did you say? Inspiration and desperation. So, and we you get there and you go, okay, am I really gonna do this? And you feel like I gotta do it. I'm desperate. I think I gotta get it out. And you walk out on the stage and it just flows. And you forget all about you because you become embedded in this gentleman. And we can't say this character. Well, he was a character because he did 11 things. And you can, when you came out here from New York, did you come on your own? Were you sent for? Did they summon you?
I know I came with the basketball. I came in my jump shot. The basketball brought me, and I knew all along that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted life on stages, and so as far as keeping it fresh and sustainable, uh, I I was raised by my mother and my grandmother, and I had 5 sisters, and so I grew up in
That's a lot of hair.
And so I had a lot of women that and when I was leaving California, I remember they all brought me to the airport, and everybody hugged me because I was the man of the house, and even though I was just 17, and but my grandmother would say that she would always every time I said, "Oh, guess what happened?" It wasn't luck; it was your grandma's silent prayer, and so these things that she said, there will always be someone to watch over you. So throughout my career, I've had Cynthia Orodubo, who was at the Robeson company at the time, was my first black agent out here, and she was female. She got me a great start, and she was absolutely wonderful. Even right now, I'm here today because of my publicist, Cynthia Busby at Busby Promotions and Public Relations, who, and she, like my grandmother, who was of Kenyan ancestry, and Kenyan, Yoruba, and a bunch of other things, but born in Jamaica, but still has that round face and that rich black skin, and and so it just touches my heart. But so I want to do that, and of course thank Cynthia Busby at Busby Promotion for making this happen. But how I keep it fresh is along the way I grew up in ghetto America, and it wasn't always well, it was always tough, but I was a juvenile felon, I was a street. Not because I was bad, but because that's just what we did in our neighborhood. We didn't buy stuff. If you had something nice, people would say like, "Oh, where'd you steal that?" And we would tell them where we stole it because nobody, you know. And I remember one time when I was young, I was like, I paid and put in a token to get on the train. It was only 35 cents at the time. And I remember all my friends looking at me like, "What the hell's wrong with you? You hate money? Why would you do that? You could have bought." So I never paid again. But but along the way, there've been a lot of I have a lot of friends and close friends and relatives that live in the sky, and so every show I dedicate to one of them, so that if I'm out on the scene, I'm in Grand Cayman Islands or the British West Indies or London, Birmingham, London, with their quiet ass. They don't laugh in London. I swear to God, they don't laugh. I thought they were dead. But I can still perform because that show's not for them. That show is for someone that loved me, that believed in me, that lives in the sky. That ain't here, but in my heart, it's that shout out, it's that love, and so I like to go out there and give it all and remain passionate because I'm here and it's my story to tell.
What did you say with your slave self? because you work like like a runaway or a Hebrew slave doing a thing, runaway, let me get away. And it's not so much as running away from it as you have embraced this and you're showing and allowing people around the world to get a better understanding of how we are as Americans, what we bring to the table of life and around the world. And you said they was quiet. Does that kind of, and do you feel like let me hit this a little harder over here for this, because every audience is different, and you're doing the same thing, but you're doing the same thing in front of different people, and they're going to get different emotions, when they come to you. So when you're doing your shows around the world, do you do a Q&A?
Oh, absolutely. I do a Q&A after the show, and I point out to them that, that if not for Robeson, we would have had Barack Obama as president, because, he was part of the lineage that helped those guys go to Africa to bring his father back to the University of Hawaii. And so I do that whole thing as well. But it's, audience can change, and I do a show depending on, the audience, in certain things, and I have people's, names in it and different things. So it's like I come from the world of stand-up comedy as well too, and they, on the before I remember, they taught you how to find your friend in the audience, and and to build, and and when you have that lull, include them. So it is an audience participation show as well. They sing along Heidi, Haiti, Heidi Ho, the Cat Calloway numbers and different.
Calloway.
We have Duke Ellington music. We have music from all these people that are involved in the Harlem Renaissance. Because it's a teaching tool. People don't understand that this vegan people in culture is responsible and invented, created, and refined every single form of music on planet Earth except opera and classical. Everything else belongs to us. From rock and roll, R&B, gospel, country, calypso, reggae, hip hop, rap, soca.
We are people.
And so to lay that cultural claim on humanity, there's not another race on the planet that has made that kind of a cultural contribution. And so it's an amazing thing because we did so in spite of what we were facing. And so there is no equivalent to the slavery we endured. And so we were, those slaves that were beaten and bruised and whipped and chains and locked in cages shined like stars when they stepped on stages. And this is America's big secret. And after World War II, that was a major reason why there wasn't a World War III, because when sung "It's a Wonderful World," it wasn't. It wasn't.
It was not a wonderful world.
Not, but we had this thing to transcend time and create. In so doing, we were creators of the afterlife, and like the architects of heaven, the standpoint of creating a world as we wish it actually were. And so, whether it was Cab Calloway dancing, or Josephine Baker, or Ella Fitzgerald singing, or Lady Day, Billie Holiday, with an empty stomach and a broken heart and with white gardenias in her hair, telling us God bless the child that's got his own. All of these things, and we enhance the culture. And so we are an amazing, amazing race of people. And we've touched everything across the world. And so part of it is that's what it's about. And so my quest was to use theater as a vehicle for social change, and try to impact humanity at some point. Because the great, I think it was Martin Luther King, but I'm not sure who stated that we should all be ashamed to die until we've done something in the service of humanity. And so this is my service, and until Hollywood discovers that I can also write and act, and I have a novel out, and all of these other things that I do, that until then, I'll just keep on pushing until heaven calls.
Now, is your audience, because this is about another black man, another African American living in this racist country. A lot of, unfortunately, a lot of our legends had to leave the United States of America to be recognized in how Europe embraces our culture. And you know, they're always trying to steal everything from us. And y'all know who they are. We know who they are. You know, first time I ever saw a Caucasian, I call them my less melanin brothers and sisters with dreadlocks. I was like, I didn't even know their hair could lock like that. Maybe they all just passing. You know, they probably went above. Because everybody hair don't look like wool, but people's hair that does it. God, and if you believe in the Bible as a guidance, if you believe every single word in the Bible, God absolutely specifically describes who we are and what the Jesus the Messiah looked like. He had hair like lamb's wool. He got skin that looked like it's been burnt in a fire. Okay, now who is that? Now, I went to Africa, and I was just really surprised at how Africans look at Americans. And they knew that I was from America. And I was like, how y'all know I'm from America? We all black. He said, oh no, we are indigo. I don't know why they call us black people. We are indigo and blue. And remember Curtis Mayfield, the late great Curtis Mayfield, one of his favorite songs was about us, we people who are darker than blue.
That's right.
And I can never understand how white people want to call us black. Y'all the ones should be called colored. Y'all should be the ones that they call colored. You be green with envy. You're red with vengeance. You know, you turn blue with jealousy. We can do all that, but you can't see our flavor, our colors. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And the best way for us as a people, as a nation, is to tell our story, not his story, because the people that are in power, and that's why white people want to be in absolute power, because they know if they let it go, they will probably never, ever get it back. But what they didn't understand to this day, we still are a powerful entity. God did not bring us this far to just bring us this far. You said this, and a lot of us don't want to step into our purpose. We don't want to acknowledge that we have a specific assignment and to get into it. And what you said, you know, when you were in high school, most black men in high school, they running out after the chicks and the cheerleaders, and you know, they want to be big man on campus and sports and everything. How did you stay focused and not get in? Well, you got all them women around you, all that estrogen. Like you got to show up before them.
Well, I did that as well.
Oh,
I
you
most certainly
did.
did. I did that as well. It's but you know there's so much there we're capable of, and it's you know, all of our heroes were, you know, from Muhammad Ali to Dr. J, Jim Brown, you know, to Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, you know, Teddy Pendergrass. I mean, we had these, you know, and they always, you know, it was, you know, like I said one time, I said, all my heroes, they either have a ball or a mic or a gun or a knife or a ball or a mic. But you know, it's the nature of who we are, and so it comes with the package and territory because the complex race of people, and we're capable of great compassion, you know, but we remain strong, and part of that holding on, because people say, "How is Hollywood managed to keep me a secret?" And I tell them because there are areas of my life that are not negotiable, and you know, Hollywood requires that of some of us, if you know, and it all depends on who you are and who you serve, whether or not you know you bow to it. So
And to
it's
be able, we have to be in a position of pooling our resources together. I mean, you think about it, we got more black millionaires and billionaires, you know, and they're coming up, and these kids are so smart. And a lot of people that are in power right now, they can see it slipping from their old hands. You just can't expect something new to come out of something old. You got to get some new wine skins to put the new wine in. You don't put new wine in an old skin. That's not how it works. And we have got to stop and understand how powerful we are collectively. And that's why the powers that be want to keep us separated. And the fact that you make sure that you are on your assignment is what's the ethnicity of the most of your audience?
I get a good amount of whites and quite a lot of Jews because we do have there are some parallels in our struggle. The two most despised races on the planet Earth were blacks and Jews, and oftentimes you'll signs in the Deep South that says no niggas and no Jews, and so we're despised as well, and but uh, so there is some compassion there, and Robeson, as did Josephine Baker and quite a few of the Africans, fought to help Jewish resistance movement against the Nazis because they knew that if evil prevailed against them, it was already prevailing against us, and that we needed to find common ground. And so, and hopefully, as in the civil rights movement, in Mississippi burning, the two Jewish guys in New York that went down to Mississippi and marched with them. But it hasn't really taken on in Hollywood because I don't feel not a lot. I was fortunate enough to have Mr. Landers from the Landers Juice Company, uh, him come to the show, and quite a few, but we need corporate sponsorship because the Southern governors have now made diversity programming illegal and threatened HBCUs like Bethune-Cookman, who I've done 3 times, FAMU, I've done it before, and Florida Memorial, and all these schools that if they bring people in, that they will jeopardize their state funding. So it's a very difficult climate right now. It's a hard call for them to make. So we do need some corporate sponsorship to help make some of this, better, and to try to keep shows like this alive because there are kids that didn't even know blacks fought in World War II.
Right.
There are professors that did not know that. There are college professors that did not know that Cab Calloway wasn't just a great conductor, musician, and dancer, but he also went to school. Cab Calloway was a brilliant man. They wouldn't have given him a chance to be that, but there's so much there, his figures tell some of the story, that movie, but we are, with the name of my film production company, Diamond in the Dirt, and because that's what we are.
That's your production company?
Yes, Diamond in the Dirt.
I love that name, Diamond in the Dirt, because we get, and how do we make diamonds? Hard pressure.
Right,
I mean,
it's like,
and then, I feel that.
So yeah, so it's so we can persevere, and but it's wonderful because I get young students, and there's usually crying at the end of the show, and there's it's a very emotionally challenging show, and it's
but terrible in a good way.
Yeah, it's refreshing, and but it does let you know that we have to protect ourselves against evil and also encourage righteousness. Because as I told you, if you live correctly, karma will take care of itself.
Yes.
And so and that's one of the things. So it's but it's been a wonderful journey. It's coming up on my 40th year in show business, and since I've been in this,
When did the time go, Stogie? 40.
Since I was 15 years old, this has been, and to be, over 55 now, which is crazy. I just birthday, and it's like, wow, but this has been my dream from when I was 15. Life on stages and the ability to go travel all over. We're in negotiations now to go to Turks and Caicos, and we were invited to South Africa, but I'm going to need the embassy to step up because that is too far to go without the proper backing. Mm-hmm. And so I spent time in Ghana. I've been there as well. I did a film over there, and so it was absolutely wonderful. But it's a journey, and it's been I'm grateful for it, and but there's so much more, and there's so much I'm capable of, and that I'm just continuing to remain faithful and for the opportunity.
Now, let's talk about your performance coming up here and where people can come out. Tell them about the performance. The world
Yes,
is my home.
tomorrow night at Santa Monica Playhouse, which is on 3rd Street near 4th and Wilshire, um, Wilshire Boulevard, Monica. And I have a residency that performed there in the last 15 years over 150 times. And I will be there. That's the only because I don't have any MLK shows this week in Black History Month. I'm still open for Black History Month. So you can get in touch with me to have a show or sponsor a show for a high school, college, or your professional organization as well. And so I'll be performing there. Then the following week I leave to do Broadway in the Hood, which is in Las Vegas. Ben Vereen is the national ambassador, but Tori Russell is the artistic director. He's a young kid doing an amazing job. Russell is. He's taken like 60 kids to New York, see Broadway. These are the at-risk that he's been working with. He's done it for years, and it's just phenomenal. I'm so impressed with the work he's doing, and so I'm looking forward to going there to perform. I'll be doing shows there in Las Vegas as well.
How about that?
Yeah.
So you've been performing these shows for many, many years. Who would you like to tell their story coming up? Whose story would you like to tell?
Vereen is I'm a big fan of Ben Vereen. He's from my neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York, and uh, I've long been a fan of his. One of the biggest supporters of the show and a close friend of mine is the Honorable Louis Foster Jr., who's also from Brooklyn. And Lou, I did a tribute show for him, and he came out, and Jane Kennedy and her husband Bill Overton, and Beverly Todd and Judy Pace, and they've all come from 227. Oh my goodness, I can't think of the mother's name.
My head is
right.
really big. I had the privilege.
Marla Gibbs has been to a couple. Bill Duke has been there.
All of these people. I gotta go down some class. A lot of people. I got the opportunity and the privilege to work with Marla Gibb, with Beverly Todd. Oh my God. And a lot of these, especially our young people, don't know who these people are and what kind of footprints that they have left for other artists to stand into and walk through, because that's what we're doing. I mean, they used to have black lady talk show hosts talking as much smack as I do on a white radio station. I didn't even know they had white radio stations and black radio stations. Music is music. Talk is talk. And if you had told me 30 years ago that this is what I would be doing, that I would be talking to the great Stogie Kenyatta, who pays tribute to one of our greatest artists on the stage, working with Marla Gibb, with Beverly Todd, Judy Pace been on the show, Ben Vereen has been on the show. Okay, I told you, you've been on twice or a couple times. And we will always have a really good time. So now you're doing the life of Paul Robeson. This is another piece I don't think people knew about, and I just want to share this. What people say about you. Stogie Kenyatta is a refreshing and dynamic. This is the part I like. New voice on the American literary scene. So, okay, so the 40 years didn't count, so now you knew. But isn't that something they still call you new? They still see the freshness in you?
Yeah, that's my first novel out. The World Is My Home. Not, The God Stop Smiling is the name of the novel. And yes, so I've written a dozen screenplays and had different things done, but this is the first novel, and so it's really touching. It's a beautiful story, and I look forward to.
Where's my book? Where is my book?
I have an autographed copy.
Oh, I'm just saying, don't make me Nikki when I see you.
Yes, indeed.
This is something else because you talked about this. You said that for about 60 seconds, the gods stopped laughing. For 60 seconds, and all that power that was in that, the gods stopped laughing. And one of the things you said, society worships athletes because the gods have smiled on them. They embraced the beauty in the struggle, but weren't prepared for the ugliness of success.
That's right.
Okay. Because people think when they see you, they see and they really absolutely adore, they worship these athletes. I mean, if you get Michael Jordan can get 50,000 people to come see him, but you think he can get 50,000 people to come to church with him? I'm just saying, we have to be here to tell our own stories. We know what we've done, and we know what we have ignored, and we know what we need to be accountable for. And the fact that they took arts out of the schools, they took a whole chunk of kids' creative life away from them, and they didn't think they were going to get in trouble. What did you think when it out of the school?
Well, I knew how important it was for me. The thing is that multicultural arts education is vital because we live in a society that technology is so advanced. You can go on the internet and learn how to build a bomb in 10 minutes. You can learn about various poisons on how to kill. They've had things like anthrax that created. You can't smell it, you can't taste it, but if you touch it, you'll be dead within like a matter of a couple of days or hours or whatever. So technology made it easier to kill. You can set a bomb on your cell phone or something like that. And so if we only teach reading, writing, and arithmetic and neglect the soul, then what happens is you get a heartless society, a heartless generation of kids. And what we need with that, because with my show, I've had kids that were tough as hell come and they cry and they say, wow, when the father died, and they're emotional. They say, I don't know why I can't stop crying. I said, because you need to get that out. It's touching something in you. Okay, God's trying to tell you something. Okay, and so the thing is this, is that we need kids that understand just because technology says you can, doesn't mean you should.
Well, now.
That comes from having a developed soul that understands that you have to have a compassionate response to the suffering of your fellow human being. And that's all as simple as it is. One of the questions they ask me all the time, they say, after the Q&A, and I do Stogie every year, by the way. Stogie has the highest amount of California kids going to the HBCU. They're a fantastic university. And they say, how do you make yourself cry? And I say, well, I'm not make myself cry. I told them that we're all built with this, that God put in us, this nerve that allows us to have a compassionate response to the suffering of others. So if you watch a dog being hurt on being up, he's shivering in the cold, and then just when he's about to get warm, someone says, come, I can feed it, and then right as it gets to it, the car runs over it, and then the puppy dies. You're crying. Why? You didn't know the puppy, you didn't know the person, you don't know the dog, you don't know anybody. But why is it crying? That's the God in you telling you that God is love, and because you have love in you, God is in you. And that is the way of looking at it, that says that when I told them, when you watch Katrina, because I was doing New Orleans after Katrina, and I saw people that look like me standing through their houses, and they're drowning, and they're dying, and they're asking for help. We could video them, but we can't help them. But we can show their suffering, but we can't alleviate it, allegedly. It moves me to tears. Why? I don't know those people. So what it is I say, as former, I get myself in that headspace to where if I'm thoroughly in tune, the correct response will come, and the correct response will produce tears because we're compassionate beings. And so that's what taking arts out of the school does. We're the only industrialization on the world to where our school children go and kill their classmates. That's insane. At the rate that it's happening. But, the right is so arming the world and everything. And I'm going like, and I grew up as a rough kid on a rough ghetto America. I've never wanted to kill anybody. going, you want people. It's like, but a classmate, I like, well, no, and it's like, well, why'd you? And it's like, well, and I'm going like, well, nigga, I didn't like you either at the beginning of the year, but you're my best friend. But what happened was we got to know each other, and I realized the reason I didn't like you was because you're exactly like me. You say whatever the hell you want, the whole thing, and I realized it's like looking in a mirror. So instead of becoming your enemy, I destroyed my enemy by my friend, and now he's my best friend because we are alike. And so the thing is, we just got to give each other a chance. And once you take arts out of it, it's like because when the big rough kid in class, over 6 feet, big, look like all he can do is play ball, dunk a basketball, or play football, or knock somebody down, and they just Shakespeare, and they gotta go like, "Oh my God, Stogie, was that you? That was beautiful." And it's like, I thought all you did was steal and fight and rob, and I'm going, well, I do that. I also this, It's like, but so is that we have to find a way to, realize that all children are the same loving God, and at some point, we have to ease up. Arts education is tremendously important because it teaches compassion and it has a soul. Because reading, writing, arithmetic, the people at those colleges that kill classmates and stop the whole place. All you got is he's a bright student, he's a straight A student, he was a nice boy. And it's like, yeah, but he was still a monster. Why? He developed his reading, writing, arithmetic. He didn't develop his soul. And
it can't be just that. And I'm one of those people. I can always learn something. I will never stop learning. I will never stop. Well, they called it being nosy. Why you got to be all up and find out all of this stuff. And then now you can look for stuff like we was talking about. You could go on the internet and get the directions for how to do mass destruction. You mean to tell me we have not figured out to not put that on the internet? You don't let kids get access to that. And when parents say, well, I just didn't think that he would just go into the school with his friend, and where'd they get them double barrel shotguns from? Because Columbine was our first mass shooting in a school. And to not know what is going on in your household with your children, you can't blame that on society. You have to take responsibility for that. This kid that went, when all the craziness was going on, he went from one state, got a gun, 18 years old, named Rittenhouse. The judge did everything he could to sway that jury to let this kid go. You shot and killed people you didn't know, and you get off for murder? Our laws and our rules and regulations are all cattywampus. And then to be able to have access to those kind of firearms when this part of your brain is not working, when you don't have the mental acuity to go from feeling that in your gut, the God in you, I'm just going to ignore that. Because just like I don't believe children are born bad. I just don't do that. I just cannot believe that these are innocent human beings and we jack them up. You're not born with a hateful bone in your body. Your people around you teach you how to hate one another, teach you how to hate another group of people for no reason. Like Muhammad Ali said, I'm not going to no Vietnam to shoot somebody. They ain't never called me the N-word. I don't know any of those people. Why would I go and kill somebody I don't know who has never done anything to me? And they couldn't. He said, I can handle it. I can handle this. You know why God made you a black man, right? And why he made me a black man, right? Right? You know why?
Why God made me a black man?
Because he knew everybody can't handle being a black man. Some black men can't handle being a black man. Yeah. Have you ever? I think it just happens to guys in the ghetto or gang. My husband and I had to sit down with our son to talk about how to deal with the police should you be pulled over, because they still pull you over for at DWB driving while black. Have you ever been pulled over by the police?
Oh God, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I've had all kinds of things. No, without a doubt. No, absolutely. It's but I'm an old pro at things like that because I grew up in on the dark side of the street, and so it's I don't sweat it. I live fearlessly because Yale teaches you one thing. I grew up in the crack era in New York City, and with guys that I swore in carjacking, and I used to say we grew up like the kids that won't see heaven, and well, I hope they do get in, but it's but but the one thing we took away from it was to fearlessly because we're going to die anyway, and and that's been my motto, and I don't sweat a lot of stuff, and I don't let it stress me out, but I know that I'm playing with house money now because a lot of people didn't think I would make it this time. Not at all.
You said people think you made it up. I don't think. Well, me, I can't make. I don't make it up. I'm not that clever. I really am not. And so, for the crazy stuff that is going on in the world, we as a people, we see it coming. We know it's coming. It is going to be. Remember when the last poets, the revolution will not be televised.
Right.
Remember that one? No, we seen it.
I believe.
Unfolding in front of you. There's a revolution. There's a desperation to keep women under control. You grew up with all these women, all this electricity, all of this greatness around you. And that's why people are afraid of you. A big black guy too. I mean, you got this wonderful, just welcoming face and that $1 million smile. Let me tell you, I know why the dentist is making all that money and why people don't go, because it can be very expensive. That's why you take care of yourself. You don't just wait till something is starting to break down on you. Go get a physical, especially for our black men. Go get your prostate checked out. You went to the doctor because I know you take it. The complexion is beautiful. What kind of health do you go to?
I'm sorry.
What kind of health care plan and what do you do to keep your health together? Because when you're traveling all over the world, your body can go all cattywampus because you don't know what time of day it is. You don't know what day it is. You can cross the international date line and get Tuesday twice. I found that out. How can it still be Tuesday? And does your body go through changes? How do you keep well and healthy when you're on the road?
We do the Jamaican thing, with herbs and spices, and I don't eat pork. We don't eat pork. I travel with my wife. It helps that I'm married. I'm married 25 years to my soulmate, Nishi. And you've met her.
I did.
Yeah, you met her. I believe you have pictures together at the Tina event, the Tina Broadway opening. And yeah, but I stay away from it. Not too much red meat or anything else, and try to eat moderately. And it's and basically a halal diet for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And it's but as you get, it's hard to maintain big man weight because it's like around 250, which seems heavy, but then I'm 6'5", so it's just but outside of inches around the waist, I've been blessed. I need to eventually get my knee done, but from basketball injuries. But outside of that, I've been blessed and I'm grateful for it. But my wife tends to calm me down. No alcohol, I don't smoke. And I don't drink, and I certainly don't drink brown liquor.
And you don't drink brown liquor?
No, I don't drink brown liquor at all. It's like occasionally, tequila or something, vodka, whatever. When it's but I'm just not a drinker.
See,
so,
you said you don't drink brown liquor. I don't drink white liquor. I got drunk when I was like real gin. And you know what they say, gin makes. And I was just talking more crap than a Japanese radio, and I couldn't stop. And then all of a sudden, the liquor all hit me, and I passed out and woke up in the bushes, and they left me there. Kind of freely. Well, you was drunk in the bushes. We weren't going to wake you up. So Cynthia Busby is calling in, and she's asking, tell us about your performances in the Bahamas. I love the Bahamas.
Well, I've done several in the Bahamas. I did it at Shakespeare in Paradise Theater Festival. And I performed there twice. They take wonderful care of you. It's run by Nicolette Bethel. and she does a wonderful job there. And we caught some hurricanes down there, but the first time I went was after Obama was president, and I have this thing that I do whenever I travel abroad. Find out who the U.S. ambassador is of the country, and I offer them an honorary benefit performance, a command performance in honor of the U.S. and their achievement. So when I'm pulling it up, it turned out to be none other from Los Angeles, Nicole Avon, which is Clarence Avon's daughter, and she went to USC. And so, of course, I called her office. I told her it's Stogie Kenyatta, and I'm coming there, and I want to do a command performance for you. And I set up a U.S. Embassy night at the National Museum there where I performed, and they had a big blowout and a huge thing. And then she invited myself, my wife, my mother came down with my sister Denise, and my uncle George and my aunt Sherry, and we all had dinner at the U.S. Embassy. Came to the embassy, and while we were there, the late Dr. Miles Monroe was there, as was the late Tiny Lister. And I only say late because they were on Dr. Miles Monroe's wife and his daughter perished in a plane crash a few years later. And and of course we lost Tiny around a year ago, and so it's yeah, and so I had a wonderful time there, and but we've been there twice, and performed there at least 6 times, and it's been absolutely wonderful. And I'm still in touch with Nicolette down there, and so I hope to go again probably in the coming year.
That is wonderful. Is there a country, a community that you haven't performed in that you got, like it's on your wish list? I want to perform here. I want to have them because you got to put out in the universe.
Yes, I want to perform in Dubai and Brazil. The UAE, United Arab Emirates, in Dubai.
Mhm.
I would like to there because I have ancestry in my family, and I'm Saudi myself, and and Brazil. My wife looks Brazilian. When I did the tour in Ghana, West Africa, um, I did castles, and it was an unbelievable experience. But I spent 26 days in West Africa shooting a film in 2019, and the largest slave population did not go to the United States of America. I had no idea. I thought it was really us.
No, right.
It's Brazil.
Oh, they've been
Brazil.
forever.
Yeah, Brazil has, and so and my wife, particularly when she was younger, looked very Brazilian, and I love that about her. And I've often, but I would love to go to Brazil as well.
How do you look Brazilian? What I heard was everybody in America on the chicks want to get a Brazilian butt.
Well,
they are
white people started calling it Brazilian butt. We've been seeing asses like that all over Ghetto America. I don't know where they came from with that, but I don't know. I'm Jamaican, and we had women that would walk 5 miles to work, 5 miles back up a hill. So yeah, them butts were there for a long time, and so it is not so I don't worry about that, but I love the beauty, I love their dance, and what I love about Brazil is the same thing I love about Jamaica. Of all the Caribbean islands, we were all colonized by the British or Europeans. Jamaica is never trying to be European. We always kept it African. The talks, the chew stick, the food, the accent, because in Jamaica, we talk like, the same Bantu. We don't have the TH sound, nothing. So when we go back to Jamaica,
you can just go right into it. You can just go right into it. If people did not know that you were from the islands originally, because your pitch and tone is so, it's not even American. It's just like you have this universal pitch and tone. You could walk into a room and be humming, and people might want to, just get up close to you so they can hear the humming. And do you have to tell the women around the world, look, get away from me? I'm here. Where my wife at? Baby, come in here, talk to her. Don't make me get hurt. See, I had to keep bail money because I might have to cut.
I don't see that, but I know when I'm going home, but I'm not running off no women. But to me,
But they do. Some people don't even care. I was at an event one time, and my husband wasn't with me, and the little short white man came up to me, and he said, "Oh, I think you are beautiful, mother love. I would like to take you home." And I'm like, "Take me home to do what?" And he was just, "You are just so beautiful." I'm like, "Dude, married? Oh, your husband out here? Well, are you married today?" Like, shut up. People don't understand the sanctity and power of a marriage, and you don't come in there and just do all kind of crazy stuff. So now you do all of this and you travel all around the world. How do you keep yourself up with the time? Do you get there a couple of days before the event so you can catch up with?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to be in country 48 hours before I step on stage, and to acclimate, and we do press and all those things before, and there's a day on the back end before I leave as well, so I don't get off the stage and get on a plane either. So it's I get to really enjoy the country and the whole thing. So I also call the tourism board in your country, and I tell them, hey, I'm doing the whole thing, and to see what they have, and they show you stuff. In Grand Cayman, we got to do horseback riding in the water, with the show, a guided horseback tour where we go through the beaches in the water. That's like $500 a couple. We got that complimentary, and we also got a sun cruise on a catamaran, with dinner and calypso reggae music and everything. And so it was, so no, it's been, we've had several honeymoons, and it's really enhanced. Yeah,
That's what I said to my husband. I said, because we didn't have an official honeymoon. We got married, we took to the hotel, we took our bed, our whole money, and the wishing well, and we went through everything because we had been living together for years, and so we really didn't need anything, for the household. We was like, okay, some dough, we can go get what we want, and we went to I said, every time we go on a trip someplace, we'll look at it like a honeymoon. You said 48 hours. I've been shortchanging myself. I come in, I need to be there at least 24 hours. And I used to suffer from jet lag. Oh, and I met this guy who crossed the international date line. And I was like trying to figure out how do I get acclimated quicker? He said, when you get to a place and the time changes, take your shoes off. You can keep your socks on and rub your feet across the carpet, like you're shuffling across the carpet while you're unpacking or whatever. Catch you up with time, just like that. I said, how'd you know? He said, I crossed the international date line, and he believes in the universe's collective energy. And that's a way to get reconnected. And sometimes I shock myself, and I'm like, oh, I think I done rubbed this a little too hard. But I'm able to catch up with the time. We went to China, and it was a big, giant time gap. We flew from LA to New York. We had an 8-hour layover there. Then we fly all the way across the ocean. I'm like, okay. And I stayed awake the whole time. Then when I got to Shanghai, took my shoes off, caught up with the time just like that. Same thing when I went to Africa. When you had your first trip to Africa, did it change you any?
Yeah, to some degree, but I was always very Afrocentric to some degree. But education-wise, yeah, it did, and it was humbling. It was very humbling, and it is they're magnificent people, and it just let us know of our strength, and that it's amazing. But we grew up in the West thinking that we can't live here and be happy with less, and we can, and sometimes we have to. It was just it was a lot of things. A lot of things were very eye-opening for me there, But it was a beautiful country, a beautiful time, a huge rap party on the beach, and a lot of the locals and the whole thing. I went to the clubs with them and the different thing, and so it was yeah, it's that I wasn't younger because then I would have because I would have had kids there as well. But it's but yeah, so it's
So tell people to play and how they can get to it. Stogie.
Yes, Blog Talk went off. I'm coming back.
Oh no, but I'm still with you. That's what they do over there. They missing this part. Oh no, what's going on? You can't hear anything. Anyway, the play is coming up, performing on January 3rd, and you will be. Let me get the right information. So we're gonna be at the Beverly Hills House. Okay, you can go to his website at www.paulrobeson, PAULROBESON, One Man Show, ONEMAN show.com. It's going to be electrifying. You will not regret it. You will always absolutely love the energy that he brings to the stage. And we have to thank Cynthia Busby again for bringing you here and connecting us. Know that you always got a place to land when we come here. I am Mother Love. Remember, okay, wait a minute. I want to do the thing right here so I can show people what we're doing. Okay. Can you hear me now, Stogie?
I can hear you, but I don't think you can.
Okay, I can't hear you. I was just saying, where you're going to be the play.
Okay. You can hear me?
Okay, you got to. Wait, say it again.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so
tell them they can email me at stogiekenyatta@gmail or on Facebook or on Instagram at Stogie Kenyatta. I'm rebuilding the website right now, and so but I do have a fan page on Facebook, Stogie Kenyatta fan page, and I'm also on Instagram, Stogie Kenyatta.
well, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy day. Girl, Mother Love.
You're very
Thank
welcome.
you, Busby Promotion. You know that we love you. You can reach Mother Love. You can watch Mother Love and Stogie Kenyatta as Paul Robeson. You can watch him. You can watch me on TikTok, Restream, iHeart, YouTube. It's a bunch of them. I got them all with Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. All of the social medias. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, TikTok, Patty Wet, and Deezer. Can I say Deezer? Just because I like to say Deezer. I just like to say Deezer. It is wonderful, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Peace and blessings. And is it over? Okay. I just want to say, you did that. And remember this, babies. No matter how big or tall, short or small, thick or thin, matters not what skin you're in. Everybody needs some mother love now and then. Peace, babies.